I mean, was that probably one of your worst or scarier moments in lockup? Was when you had to put in that little bit of work on dude?
Nah, that was easy.
Let's hear it, man. Let's hear some of your darkest stories, my friend. I'll let you run with it. Run with it. All right, buddy. So, what's your name and where are you from?
My name's Alex Teacher, aka Loco. I'm from Southern Maryland. Born and raised.
And your story is actually I actually because two people came at me from at the same time from Maryland. I
Yeah.
already did one guy's interview. You were a Crip before you went to prison and banged in the penitentiary as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, man. Tell me where it all began. What the hell sent you to prison? How'd you end up gang banging all that shit?
So caught my first charge. I was 15 years old. It was in Waldorf, Maryland. It's basically a gang initiation to get into the Crips. Well, like 5 of my co-defendants ended up snitching on me, writing statements when they got caught for it or whatever. It was a first attempted murder, first degree assault, conspiracy to commit murder. I beat all that except the first degree assault, and they still kept me in the adult system and gave me 20 all suspended, but 10 when I was 16 at that time. And then sent me.
Jesus.
Then I went straight to MCTC in Hagerstown, which was a pretty rough place. Like, as soon as I walked on the tier, it was like 3 o'clock in the fucking morning when they like took us up there. So I'm walking, getting ready to walk to a unit, and I look up. There's a sign up there that says "Welcome to Never Never Land." So I was like 16 years old, you know what I mean? I'm like not scared, but I'm a little nervous, you know what
I
I
don't know.
mean?
If I read that, I'd been like, maybe this place ain't that bad. You
So
know?
the unit was 6C, and they called it the hopper tier because that's where a lot of the younger dudes would go. And at that time, I was probably, if
And
not
this
the
is an
youngest inmate,
adult prison.
yeah, it's adult prison.
Adult
I had to
prison.
go
Okay.
through DOC, all that.
Okay.
So
16.
16 years old, and
That's crazy.
so I get in there. My cellmate introduced himself, lets me roll a cigarette. You know what I mean? Because you could buy cigarettes on commissary back
Oh yeah,
then.
back then, yeah.
First stabbing I saw was the very next day, like right in front of my cell, dude. It was 2 young kids. I think one was like 15 and the other was like 16, just stabbing each other in the face like
The
repeatedly.
second day in?
Second day in, dude. It was like around lunchtime. Yeah.
I mean, what were they hitting them with? Was it like some official janks or just something that
Oh
looked
yeah.
like
Well, back
Yeah.
then, like anybody that's been to MCTC back in like the late 90s, early 2000s knows like your light in your cell,
Yeah.
you could take the cover off. There's all kinds of pieces of metal in there you can break out.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Look, I used to do that,
Yeah.
and I used to make a makeshift wrench out of a pin. You melt it.
Oh yeah.
and-
Make
and
little screwdrivers and shit.
It makes a groove shaped into the screw. So you know
Oh,
they
yeah.
have them. They have them screws that are like, I don't know. They're like they got
Octagon.
like octagon with like 7 different angles in it. You melt down a pin, push it in, leave it there for 10 seconds. It becomes a damn wrench. You know what I mean? And most of those bolts, man, they're pretty damn loose.
Oh yeah.
Already to begin with, just years and years of them being there. So, well, first let me rewind this, man.
Yeah.
Let's rewind it even before we even got to the pin. What led you to the path of saying, "Hey, I want to be in this gang"? What was it, man? Did you have a rough family, or you were just looking for?
Yeah, I mean I had a pretty rough upbringing at first, you know what I mean? Then my parents started getting better and better, you know what I mean, making more and more money, which was cool, but I mean, I was always a straight A student, dude. I was in all honors classes. I won the Presidential Academic Fitness Award, but it bored me, you know what I mean? Like, I was bored. And then growing up in not so rich areas, you know what I mean, in Southern Maryland, like PG County, fucking Charles County.
Yeah.
I mean, so you kind of learn how to fight and you learn little ways in the streets. And to be honest, man, I just want to be cool. I want to be a tough guy. I want to be a gangster. You know what I mean?
Damn right, dog. You know that's how.
It's in my blood, dude. So it's
You
in my
know
DNA.
that's what it is, man. Some people just love the thrill, man. They love it, and they, you know, they join it for probably the wrong reasons at first, but later on down the road, they really do. I've seen cats join for wrong reasons, and later on down the road, they grow up and they mature in the whole gang life as well. And it's like, it ain't about that no more. It's literally like a lifestyle to them now. So, but yeah, okay. So you go into the pen, man. Anybody checking you when you come in? Do you have any tattoos that's claiming what you are or anything like that?
Not really, because I was so young. You know what I mean? I had
Yeah.
a few little tats, but nothing crazy. And
Yeah.
back then, the gang stuff wasn't really popping off in the Maryland prison systems back in like '99. It was more like Muslims or DC versus Baltimore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like the gang thing didn't really explode in Maryland until like 2001 to 2005.
Yeah.
So like when I was in there, I didn't know anybody else that was Crip, or at least nobody else was claiming. You know what I mean? Or if
Yeah.
they would just keep it to themselves. So everybody was more or less clicked up with like
Yeah.
people from their neighborhood, stuff like that.
Neighborhoods. Yeah.
So like South Baltimore, they like pretty much adopted me because I had a lot of friends that were from Baltimore and stuff like that. Then I had family friends in there. Then I had an uncle that was locked up in there too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of
Okay.
feel like somebody looked out for me my first year or two because of my family, because a lot of them are outlaw bikers and stuff like that.
Yeah. Damn, the biker route didn't get you wanting to take the biker route instead, man? You know?
Thought about it, man, but you know,
I don't know. I look at both sides. The biker route looks a little more fun, man.
definitely cool.
I don't know. That's just my opinion. But okay, so you said Hagerstown, correct?
Yep.
Hagerstown, and dudes get stabbing each other in the face right in front of you. What the hell did you think about that, man?
I was just like, shit, here we go.
Yeah, you ain't done no juvie
Time to be
time or
scared.
anything before then?
Nah, dude. Nah.
Yeah. 16 years old going to prison, man. I mean, were you scared?
More nervous and scared and like very observant. You know what I mean? I had a lot of good people in there, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody kind of looked at me as like their little brother. So,
Yeah.
like the first real incident I got into, this dude like stole a bag of chips out of my cell when I wasn't there, and it was my cellmates. So the
Dang.
older heads were like, "Look, you gotta take care of business." So in MCTC, when you're walking to chow, like for breakfast, it's real dark. They have these like sewer drains right there, and all this fog comes out of the sewer drain all on the walkway. So they were like, "Look, when the dude walks in that fog, that's when you hit him, and just keep walking." So that's what I did. You know what I mean? Hit him right in the neck. Just kept moving.
Damn, dog. What'd you
They
hit him
didn't
with?
even send
A little
like
banger
a
jank?
little homemade plastic joint, nothing crazy, but
Okay,
it
so.
snapped off in his neck. And then
Oh, excuse me.
they put
Damn.
him on admin seg for like 30 days, pending investigation, and he didn't snitch, so they let him out and put him in housing unit 7, which was basically like its own compound because it was so big. And I seen him walking down the walkway out of my cell window. He was talking mad shit like, "I'm gonna kill you," blah blah blah. And one of my boys that was happened to be walking the opposite direction saw him and just picked him up and body slammed him, dude, right on the.
So how did you find out that he stole the bag of chips?
Oh, everybody told me. Everybody on the tier
Oh,
basically ratted him out. Like,
I mean, how the
they all
hell would
fuck
they
with
even
me.
know? He just did it blatantly in the open type shit?
So like every Saturday you have cleanup on the unit. So they pop all the doors in the morning and let everybody go get stuff. So I guess when I went to go grab the mop or the broom, he must have snuck in there and somebody saw him and then said something to me. So,
Yeah.
and my cellmate, this motherfucker was about to drop a note. I almost had to fucking beat him up. I was like, "Yo, you're not doing that." Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Drop a note for what?
Because he stole your bag of chips. Like, what the fuck are they going to do about that? Like,
Yeah.
I will take care of this because it was, you know what I mean? He
Yeah.
wasn't there at that time. He was like on a medical or visit or something. So that basically became my responsibility.
Yeah. So what the hell were you thinking, man? When
I mean,
you had that shit, when you had that banger in your hand. I mean, were you thinking twice about doing it?
Nah, not at all, man. Like, I'm not a violent person, but I've grown up and I'm very familiar with violence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect me, I guess, like some other people.
I mean, to hit someone in the neck, that's great. I mean, me personally, if someone stole something from me and I want to get at them like that, I'm gonna pop them in the arm, leg, or something, but not the neck. You know what I mean? So what the hell made you? So you went for the gusto, huh?
Yeah.
Did you ever have to come out and say, "Yeah, I'm riding out with this crew right here," and then you were actually clicked up with the Crips in prison? Was there ever a time like that, or did you get out?
I mean, always had a blue bandana hanging on my wall. or like on me or something, because back then you were allowed to have street clothes, fucking
Yeah.
bandanas, as long as they weren't like navy blue, black, or certain colors. You could have that stuff.
Yeah.
You have fresh, brand new Jordans if you wanted, order them right off East Bay. And see, in
Yeah.
Maryland, it's a lot different. Like all the Crips were basically unified as one. Like all the sets, even the ones that were beefing, warring in California, like we all came together because we
Yeah.
were the underdogs. We were like the smallest gang in Maryland prison system at that time. So we had
Yeah.
to go extra hard, you know what I mean?
Well, was there any gangs back then? Was there
Uh,
any out there doing anything other than hoods back when
mainly,
you first went in?
mainly the BGF, but it seemed like every time they would start it up, the administration would try to break them up, send them
Yeah.
out.
I
And
hear Maryland's tough on gangs, man.
now, yeah. At first, they didn't know what to do. They
Yeah.
didn't know anything about it. You know what I mean? So they were like scrambling. But I mean, you had like the Sunnis. You know what I mean? The Muslims,
Yeah.
different cliques and stuff. You had a couple of drug gangs like Murder Inc. from DC,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But mainly, it was just cliques back
Yeah.
then.
All right. So was there a time?
But you did have Bloods from Baltimore that were from Edmondson Avenue, but they were like their own little entity. They weren't connected to like California or nothing like that. That was more of a neighborhood kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So around about what time did stuff start flipping up in the penitentiary, man, with the gang life and just the structure of things?
Mainly when I was at ECI in like 2003 is when I really started noticing it getting crazy and building up.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bloods were always like the biggest, you know what I mean?
It's like that in Virginia. Bloods are number one.
Then you
At least when I was in there.
had the BGF, and the DMI started. Like I was there when that started. I know I have a lot of friends that were the original members of the DMI. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard the original Cat actually is kind of like laying off of it now. I don't know if it's just a gimmick for the judge or what, but that's what I heard.
Well, they also split in half too, because some of them wanted to be on like some white supremacist bullshit.
Yeah, I heard that.
And when it first started, there were black people in it. You know what I mean? It wasn't all white people.
Well, tell me, was there ever times where so the segregation in Maryland is nothing like, let's say, California? You can talk to a black guy, you could talk to a Mexican if you want.
Yeah, we're not doing that type of stuff, man.
Yeah,
everybody pretty much gets along.
Yeah, was there a lot of white supremacy type of organizations? Did you see any of that when you were in there?
Nah.
Yeah, like see, Virginia, I didn't see many either.
There were some people that would try to start it, but they would get sent out of there immediately. Like, they would not play that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, then you had, like, the Odinism type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, religious type of thing. And when that first started, it was how it was supposed to be. But then some dudes tried to turn it into a white supremacy thing.
Yep. It always does, man. Always does. I mean, was that probably one of your worst or scarier moments in lockup, was when you had to put in that little bit of work on dude?
Nah. That was
Let's hear it, man. Let's hear some of your darkest stories, my friend. I'll let you run with it. Run with it.
All right. So this one was in Central Laundry Facility.
Where at?
Central Laundry Facility in Sykesville, Maryland.
Uh-huh.
This was a minimum security camp. One of the wildest places I've been to, dude. I've been to Max. I worked in Supermax. Like, this was the wildest place I've been.
Yeah.
It's all dormitories, wide open. And then it's only like a few guards watching all these prisoners.
Yeah.
So, like, we were pretty clicked up then. It was like 2004, 2005. We had quite a few Crips on that compound, and there was more Bloods, obviously. So we ended up getting the word that we're at war with them. So the shot caller, I'll say his name was Deuce Deuce. He basically said, "Look, we got to go tonight." You know what I mean? So
what do you think the numbers were? How much? How off were the numbers?
Probably like 13 or 14 of them, maybe like 8 of us.
Oh, that ain't too bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
So we talked about it, and we were like, "Well, look, we're going to do this. We're going to do this right. You know what I mean? We're going to get all these dudes out of here at once." So we synchronized it. Wherever we had Lokes on the compound or the different housing units, we were like, "You got this guy, you got this guy, you got this guy." When the TVs cut off at 10 o'clock or whatever, go time. You know what I mean? So it ended up happening. TV's cut off. One dude's
And this
on the
was all in
main,
the same pod or multiple pods?
multiple pods all over the whole
All.
compound. Yeah.
Oh shit, that thing was coordinated for real. Okay.
So my man Deuce got the one dude. He was asked the blood dude. He was like, and I mean, no disrespect towards Bloods or anything. I'm not trying to glorify violence or
It's just your
prison.
story,
I'm
man.
just
That's
telling my
it.
story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he asked the blood dude for a light. Guy goes reaching in his pocket. Now Zeus was a big ass dude. He could curl 100-pound dumbbells like it was nothing. So he took back like he was throwing a fucking softball pitch and hit this dude right in his mouth. Wow! Split his jaw down the middle, both sides, and knocked all his gold teeth out. One punch.
Jesus.
Yeah.
See, I try telling people, man.
Yeah. So
You don't know what fists can do, man. You know, especially these cats, man. Bench pressing 600 freaking pounds in the yard and shit. You know, these guys, man, they'll knock your freaking head off. You know.
Yeah. So then another dormitory or wing or whatever, they went after the head dude. He was a pretty big dude, the OG or whatever, one of the OGs. Dude, they caught him in the shower, hit him in the head. It was like 4 of them. Hit him in the head with locks, broke them on his head. They had him on the ground going at seizures in the shower. Stabbed him a bunch of times, airlift him out of there. So then me and my boys in my dormitory, me and him were like, look, we can't do it yet. So we waited because the dude knew something was up. You know what I mean? And he was like an OG of the Bloods too. And so he slept. Our dormitory was here, like here. Then you had the rec hall and then the other dormitory. And then the middle was the CO's control box. And then you had the same thing on the other side.
Yeah.
So we waited till he fell asleep. We army crawled across the rec center floor with bandanas on our faces. Got to the other dorm. My boy Dirty slept right next to him. So I hand him 2 knives. Said, yo, if somebody jumps in, chop their ass up. And I had 4D batteries and like 6 socks tied in the knot. So we're arguing over who's going to hit him first. I'm like, go ahead, man, hit him first. So he lines it up, like takes the lock, lines it up to his cheekbone, and just, wow! And the lock broke, bounced off the walls, hitting people in their bunks and stuff. So I pushed him out of the way.
So this is like a dorm.
Yeah, it's a dormitory.
Yeah, that's right. You said it's low level. That's right. Okay. I'm thinking pods. I'm tripping. Okay.
So I pushed him out of the way and just unload on him like 20 times with the D batteries. Then we had red bandanas on our face to show disrespect and threw them on him. And then army crawled across the floor, laid back down. So dude tried to go hard, man. I give it to him. He stood up. Like my boy Dirty said, he stood up, smiled, and blood just started pouring down his face like somebody poured a bucket on his head. And he tried to clean himself up, but he couldn't. He had to send one of his friends to go knock on the Sears bubble. We'll get him out of there. You got to do what you got to do.
That shit's treacherous. You ain't get no street charge for that shit?
We didn't even get caught, brother. We sent probably 10 of them out to shock trauma in one night. None of us got caught. They knew we did it, but they couldn't prove anything. So after that, they basically split us up and sent us all to different compounds, which ended up working out for me because they sent me to boot camp, and then I kicked off a little riot there with the Bloods too after that. And then they sent me to Southern Maryland pre-release, which actually worked in my favor.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's crazy, man.
I only had like 2 years left at that point. 2 or 3 years left.
So do you feel like you wanted to do it, or do you feel like you were just more along the lines, hey, I'm in this and I got to be in at 100?
I'm not even gonna lie to you, Josh. Back then, I wanted to, man. You know what I mean? Like, I was on a whole different mindset.
Yeah, you wanted to be a part of that shit, man.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
And that's how a lot of young guys are. They raise their hand. I'm ready, you know, especially in like California places, and they never come home.
And see, the crazy thing is, like, a lot of these gangs got started to fight oppression and tyranny and shit like that. And now we're oppressing our own people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, I see it. And I don't like to talk about that side too much because it offends a lot of people, but that's the truth.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the truth, you know, and it's turned to violence and crime. And can you imagine if gangs actually did what they were originally destined to do or wanted to do, uplift their people and just do positive?
There's a lot of us out here now that are starting to do stuff like that, like charity, you know what I mean, all kinds of different stuff. You got to give back, man. You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't even be here today. I shouldn't even be alive. But
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I mean, you do tattoos now, right?
yes, sir.
Okay, did you start doing tattoos in prison?
Yep, a little bit.
All right, all right. How that began, man? Was there any?
There in
Because you know,
Hagerstown.
tattooing in prison can be stressful in prison sometimes. You
Oh,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh, definitely. People try to bug you, and you basically come close to smacking them just to tell them no. Like, it's fuck no.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? But mainly
Y-
it was like my cellmates, stuff like that. I didn't really, you know what I mean, get too much into it because I had other things going
yeah,
on.
yeah.
But like when I started learning on the streets, totally different, completely different.
Yeah, yeah. I always wanted to do an apprenticeship because I'm really good at tattooing, but I know if someone taught me like the professional way, bro, I'd be a monster. You know what I mean?
How I was.
I ain't got the damn time for it, man. And plus, I got this problem, man. I squeeze too hard,
Oh yeah,
so
your hand will be hurting like shit.
my fingers will be numb for like three
Yeah.
or 4 days, and after just doing a 2 3 hour tattoo, so it's really annoying. My back kills me.
Oh yeah, it destroys
Yeah,
your back, dude.
Jesus, dude, that's one of the main things,
Yeah.
man. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Was there ever situations where the tattooing might have caused a little more trouble than it did, than it helped?
The only time I really did that is when I like tattooed a couple guards or like female kitchen workers, stuff like that.
Hold on, man. You gotta mention this stuff, dog. How the hell did that go down?
Baltimore, dude. Baltimore, you do anything. Get anything you want, do anything you want.
Okay, tell me how the hell you tattoo some guards, and
They
if you
wanted
can,
tattoos.
man, what the hell was it?
They wanted tattoos, knew I tattooed. So like uh that was mainly in like Baltimore or Jessup when I was locked up there because it's a lot more free down there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The way it's run completely different than like Hagerstown. So like, I mean, if you got cash, dude, you get anything you want there. So I would
Yeah.
give like guards $20 cash. They bring me a bottle of ink in. You
Yeah.
know, they give me gloves. Like I was like a professional with that shit.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
But yeah, they just approached me and asked me. So I was like, cool. They were like, well, you can bring you some cash in. I'm like, fuck yeah, cash is king. Like, especially in there. You got cash, you can get anything.
That's crazy, man. You get any you have any flings in there?
Nah, but you could have, dude. $150.
Yeah.
You could definitely get
Yeah.
some female companionship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, damn right,
And
man.
then in Patuxent, you had female inmates. They had a
Yeah.
wing of female inmates that would
Oh,
intermingle with the males, dude. It was crazy. Like you'd see them in
wow.
the library, like walking around. Like this one dude actually had a guard call the women's wing and just to talk to his little inmate girlfriend over there. And like the other
Hey,
guard pick up the phone and be like, here.
they get strung out on them inmate girlfriends,
And you
man.
could write each other back then too. Like you could write
Yeah.
inmates. So it's cool.
Yeah, you gotta do things a little differently now. That's wild, man. Tattooing COs. You say you tattoo female what? Female
Kitchen
kitchen staff?
workers. Yeah. Kitchen
Yeah.
stuff.
That's crazy,
Little
man.
stars and butterflies and that Pinterest stuff.
Yeah. What were you making your tattoo machine out of? Tape player, CD player, motor?
Beard trimmers, buddy.
Beard trimmers. Yeah,
You
that's
could
why I
take the
made mine out
motor
of.
out. It's
Yeah.
already got the offset on it. You take that motor out. I build my machine. When I'm done with it, take the motor off, put it right back in there. They don't even know.
Yeah, perfect. And you cut your hair with the shit. You
Yep.
know, I love how the offset is built onto it. It was a clear.
Perfect.
I still got it upstairs to this day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that little beard trimmer. It's no good. I got to get it sharpened. The blades. That shit's dull now. But
So you want me to tell you a story about when I got stabbed in my face? So,
be my guest, my friend.
so after I went to Hagerstown, I got transferred to Patuxent, and I had some friends there, you know. But Patuxent back then was wide open. Like it was insane. Like you see guards sniffing heroin off their desks and shit. You know what I mean?
That's crazy, bro.
So I learned a hard lesson with this because I thought these dudes were my friends, and my real friends were at the kitchen working at this time. And these dudes I thought were my friends had the fucking guard pop my cell so they can run up in there. Four of them ran up in there trying to like steal my package or commissary or whatever, trying to test me basically. So I'm fighting them. One dude, I'm just focusing on one guy. This other guy's like punched me in the head nonstop while I'm fucking this one dude up. So I didn't even feel it, man. I guess they used like a little ice pick or something. It just felt like somebody hit me. So I'm fighting them off. Eventually I fight them off. They leave the cell. I look in the mirror. I got stabbed here, and you can still see like a little dip in my face. I got stabbed here. They hit me right in between my eyes, which I was very lucky. And then in my head. And I just washed up real quick, put on a t-shirt. I took a DOC top, put that over it because I was already preparing of what I was going to do. Put a little red beanie on because that was like the state issue joint. And I walk out there, I see one of my little homies, but he's not like a fighter or nothing, you know what I mean? He's just a little kid. And I'm like, yo, watch this shit. So I went after the biggest one that ran in my cell, this tall white dude named Eddie. And I fucking ran up behind him while he was in line at chow hall. And like when you're walking the chow down there, you're walking through this dark ass tunnel and all you see is a red light at the end. So I run up behind him and just sucker punch him right in his ear. Bop, drop him. He dropped down to like one knee and one hand, and I just kicked him right in his face. Bam. So then I take my shirt off, my hat, boom, pass it off, keep walking, go to chow. I sit down, I see my one boy, and I tell him what happened. He's like, oh, fuck, man. I'm going to try to get out of here. So he tries to leave, and the guard's like, nah, you're working. What are you doing? So then he's like, cool, well, I'm going to try to get you a knife then. So he goes to try to get one of the knives, because I had a knife in my toilet when they ran in there, but I had it wrapped in the box tape so it would float to the top of the hole in the toilet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as soon as they walked in my cell to jump me, they flushed my toilet because somebody must have told them where my knife was.
Damn.
So he's trying to get a knife and pass it to me, but the guards are on him by this time, you know what I mean? So I'm like, fuck it, you know what I mean? Whatever happens, happens. So I walk back through the tunnel, and then you go up the stairwell to a unit. I think it was F1, if I'm not mistaken at that time. So I walk up the stairwell, and I just get sucker punched. Boom. So me and the big dude are fighting for like 5 minutes straight, dude.
Oh, so it was the guy you sucker punched?
Yeah. The tallest, biggest one. So, I mean, he whooped my ass, man. Like, I thought I didn't get my ass beat. You know what I mean?
Damn tall guys, man.
But we were both our noses were bloody. There's blood everywhere. Guards didn't even say nothing.
Yeah. That's
and then
crazy.
the next day, I get a visit from my family, and I'm looking like fucking Pumpkinhead and shit.
I've had a few of those visits.
And my mom was like, "Get ready to call," and I was like, "No, do not call up here. Don't put no smut on my breath."
Warning, my son got a black eye.
So after that, I never really had a problem in that place. You know what I mean? Even one of the dudes that jumped me came up to me and was like, "Yo, we respect you for that. We didn't expect
gang
you to
related?
fight back." Nah.
Okay, just want some grub or something, huh? They just want to get some food back.
Yeah, young. Everybody there is young as shit. Like, I'm on the unit tier with people with triple life, like 16-year-old kids with triple life.
Okay, so you did 10 years, right?
Did 7 on 10.
7 on 10.
Mandatory out. Yep.
Okay, how did it feel when you were getting released, man?
It was surreal, man. It was weird. Like, I didn't know how to feel. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just
kind of going with it, huh?
It didn't feel real. And I was like, hurry up before they fucking made a mistake. Like, telling my people, drive. Like, go as fast as you can. But for real, man, like, on a real note, like, it took me a long time to really, like, function in society, you know what I mean? And, like, I was still on that mindset, you know what I mean? Somebody look at me, disrespect me, like, I'm ready to go. And, like, they don't give you any rehabilitation in a lot of systems out here, you know what I mean? Like, there is no rehabilitation. Like, you can go to college, but you gotta wait 3 years on a waiting list and stay out of trouble, which is nearly impossible.
That's why I try telling people, man. And if you got violent charges, that's pretty much not happening.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of people.
I couldn't do work release, none of that shit.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, what do you got going on now, man? You got any kind of social media or anything that you would like to shout out or anything like that?
Yeah, I got Instagram. It's My Life Your Pain. Facebook, YouTube. It's all the same. My Life Your Pain. Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
You make videos on YouTube, or are you just chilling on there?
I'm just starting to now. Like, I'm trying to keep it a variety of content, but right now it's just mainly tattoo stuff. But I'm gonna
That's what I was about to say, man.
Branching off into other stuff. Like, I don't want to focus on necessarily one topic, or, you know what I mean? I want to do a bunch of different stuff, man. I got so many ideas.
Hey, try making a prison tattoo machine. Do a little bit of work with it, you know what I mean? But that's cool, man. What's your channel name?
My Life, Your Pain.
My Life, Your Pain. That's right. Well, send me the links to all that stuff, and I'll make sure everything's pinned in there for anybody that might want to follow this individual, man. Look, your story's crazy as hell. You know, I mean, it don't
It's
get too
wild,
much
man.
crazier than that. I mean, besides losing a life or something, you know. What do you think would be the best piece of advice for anyone that might be going into the Maryland prison system?
Be very observant. Don't trust anybody, and stay to yourself.
Good pieces, man. Good
Yeah.
pieces. Trust no one. Be very observant. Very observant. Well, yeah, man. I appreciate your story was good. Do you have any other kind of shout outs you'd like to say before we leave?
Shout out to my boy Aziz, Mark Brown, Miguel, CeeLo, Laylo.
You got any kids?
Oh yeah, I got 3 of them.
That's good, man. You know, you got to be out there for them. So just keep doing what you're doing, man. I appreciate
Yeah,
you coming on
definitely.
the show and
Appreciate
telling
it,
some of
bro.
your crazy moments in prison. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, some people have an easy ride, but you can tell, you know, a lot of people don't. You know, they go through some serious shit, and then they got to come out here and regroup and change their whole way of thinking. Because in prison,
Gotta change that way of thinking. Like we
only
have to
way,
change
yeah,
that way of thinking.
the only way to fit in prison is you have to become somewhat of an animal.